We're going to do a little extra demo here to demonstrate how to do some extruding of walls here to give some thickness to this walls of an already existing model that has been modeled, and there's been some geometry added to just this box here. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to do a couple little things to make it easier in the long run here. And one thing I'm going to do is that I'm not going to be working on these models here, the bottle, the desk, and the chair. And what I want to do is I'm going to put this in a layer. The layer box here is a very important little tool that I like to use a lot. So I've selected these three items here, and I have these buttons here. Create new layer, we can do that. We can also create a new layer and assign selected objects. And we can just press that button for now. And what that did is it added those objects into a layer here in the layer box. And now what we can do is we can make them invisible. We can template them, kind of gives them an outline. We can also what's called referencing, which means if they're referenced, I cannot select them. I can only select the things around that. I'm also going to double click on the layer, and I'm going to rename it furniture, and so I know what this layer is, because I'm going to be adding some other layers. Basically, I'm going to be not doing anything with this furniture here, so I'm just going to make it invisible and get them out of the way. Now there's a couple other things we're going to want to do. Let's just take a look at this geometry here. And there's a little extra geometry here and there. Let's just take a look. The function I want to do is I want to extrude out these walls so it gives them some thickness. So I'm going to right mouse, marking menu, and go to face. And let's just grab these faces here just as a little test. I'm going to select that face and select that face. Go to edit mesh, extrude, and let's just see what it does. Now, as you can see, what it's doing here, it's doing a little problem. One wall is extruding one way, and the other wall is extruding the other way, which is not what we want, of course. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to show you why that was going on. Let's just select the object, and we're going to go into display polygons. Display polygons, and we want to select face normals. What that does is it displays which way each one of these polygon faces are actually facing. And if you can see in this particular in that particular wall that we just extruded, this face here is facing outward and this one is facing inward, and we want all the faces to be facing in the same direction. So things like the extrude and other tools that we apply are going to work properly. We've also got, if you notice here, we've got another polygon facing downward. So what had happened there is that there is something in the modeling process added an extra polygon that's kind of embedded in here. This happens a lot, and we have to sort of deal with some of these things, and we have to know where to look for them, and this is one way to look for it. So I'm going to go into object mode first, and one other thing I'm going to do is I'm in object mode, is I'm going to select this this room object first, and I'm going to delete history on it, and this is going to get rid of some of the construction history in it, and that could potentially alleviate some of the issues as well. So we're going to go to edit, delete by type, and history, and this just got rid of all of that construction history, which we don't need anymore. Now let's deal with some of these faces here so we can get onto some of the modeling and some of the extrusion. So I'm going to go back to the marking menu, right click marking menu, and go to face. And what I want to do is I want to flip this face so it's facing the other way. So I select that face. Polygons, I'm going to go into normals and reverse. And if you can see very easily, that just reversed that face there. Now to deal with this other other issue here that could potentially be a problem if we're going to be doing extrudes. It's a little more complicated to fix this, but it's really not that hard. It's just something that you're going to get used to. So I'm going to go into Vertex. Right mouse, marking menu, go to Vertex. Now if you look, you can see that we have a lot of these vertices that are in the middle of edges and in the polygons here. So basically what this is not a four-sided polygon, but a multi-sided polygon called an n-gon, which could, you know, if it looks good, it's not really going to cause problems if you're doing modeling, but if you get into game modeling and some more detailed modeling, this can be something that can kind of bite you later. So to deal with little problems like that, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try to get rid of this particular problem here. So I'm going to select that vertice there, press W to move it, and then I'm going to press the V key to snap it to that next vertice there. And I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom one here. So I'm going to snap it to that vertice there. Okay, so you think, okay, well that vertice just kind of went away, but I'm going to show you something here. We're going to go into display, where is it, heads up display, and I'm going to do poly count, and this gives you a little bit of information here, and it shows you what is selected. And you can see if I were to go and select one of these vertices, oops, like so, it's going to say that I have one vertice selected, like that. So I'm going to select this one that I just merged, and it says 1. However, if I were to drag select it, it says that there's 3 vertices there. So there's actually like 3 edges of polygons on top of each other here, and that could potentially be something that could cause you problems later. And to take care of that, let's just take care of all of those problems right now. I'm going to, within vertice mode, I'm going to drag select all of the vertices. Notice that there's 86 vertices that I've selected by drag selecting. I'm going to go into Edit Mesh, Merge, Option Box. And in the option box here, this is the default settings. It's going to say threshold, and it's going to merge all these vertices into one that are this close together. And if they're basically right on top of each other at 0.01, they're just going to merge. If they're far enough, they're not going to merge if they're have some distance. You also want to check always merge for 2 vertices. And I'm going to merge them. And I just got rid of like 10 vertices there by just pressing that, and it went down to 74 where it was 86 before. Now this is something that you're going to want to do. You're probably going to want to clean up this model a little bit, but for now it's going to work just fine. We're going to be able to do the extrude now that I've cleaned this up a little bit, but just for future references, you may want to just select these vertices and select them, and then if you were to select all those, there's 2 vertices there, edit mesh, merge them, and it merges it into 1 vertice, and you can go do that and clean up your models that way. Let's go do the merge. Now the problem that we were having before is that if you were to go into face mode, and I'm going to turn off these face normals here. Oh, come on, face normals, where are you? There we go. Oops. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't turn off the first time. We have to do it again. It's not doing it. Maybe I have to be in object mode. Sometimes you have to be in object mode to turn off face normals. Yeah, there we go. All right. We're back in business now. So if I were to go and I'm going to go into marking menu, component mode, go to face, and I want to extrude these faces out to make a thickness in the wall. If I go to Edit Mesh, Extrude, pull it out like that, and again, if you notice, it's just pulling it out and making just the room a little bigger with this border here, and we don't want that. It would be nice if there were two-sided polygons and there was a function that would make that not happen. However, we have to do a little bit of workaround here. Also, there are some little issues here. If we were to, let's just say, I'm going to select all the faces, and I'm just going to deselect this floor face there, and I'm going to try to extrude all these walls out. Edit Mesh, Extrude, and you can see that it's not quite working like we're doing. I'm going to just have just the extrude there, and yeah, it kind of works, but you notice that it's sort of making it all skewed. It's not really it's not extruding out the walls in a way that we actually want. So I want to undo that too. There we go. We're going to have to extrude each wall one at a time.